What exactly is QAnon? I'm so sorry you asked. Get ready for some deep weirdness. CNN captured its broad contours by saying, quote, it's a baseless theory. Followers of QAnon believe there's a deep state within the U.S. government that's controlled by a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles, and Trump is trying to take them down. Sounds weird, right? That's because it is. But it has seeped into the groundwater of Trump-era hyperpartisanship, with Q paraphernalia sold outside Trump rallies and appearing with disturbing regularity on his supporters. And although he hasn't spoken directly about QAnon, the president has fanned the flames, repeatedly retweeting QAnon-supporting accounts, memes, and hashtags. The Trump campaign even included QAnon signs in an ad, which was later taken down. This month, Business Insider published data showing the Trump campaign relies on a huge network of QAnon accounts to spread conspiracy theories and disinformation. And get this, a lot of these accounts are inauthentic. According to the tracking site Bot Sentinel, 3 of the top 5 bot-amplified hashtags of 2020 are QAnon related. That's right. If you're a follower, you're probably getting duped by a bot.
2.5 weeks ago, I found this Facebook post from a QAnon follower. Today I researched it and found 1 out of 1 million matches on Google had it. Guess what? It was breaking news from today on a site called trumpwin.com. Here's another QAnon Facebook post that talks about pedophiles and islands.
During the pandemic, the QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much, which I appreciate. But I don't know much about the movement. I have heard that it is gaining in popularity.
At the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind? Or
well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there. And we are, actually.
I wanted to ask you, you congratulated Marjorie Taylor Greene in a tweet. You called her a future Republican star. Greene has been a proponent of the QAnon conspiracy theory. She said it's something that would be worth listening to. Do you agree with her on that?
Well, she did very well in the election. She won by a lot. She was very popular. She comes from a great state. And she had a tremendous victory, so absolutely, I did congratulate her. Please, go ahead.
On QAnon and her decision to embrace that conspiracy theory. Do you agree with her on that? That was the question.
Meanwhile, Trump's former national security advisor and convicted felon Michael Flynn recently decided to go full Q and post a video reciting some of its slogans. The FBI classified QAnon as a domestic terror threat in a 2019 internal memo. QAnon followers have allegedly been involved in a foiled presidential assassination plot, a devastating California wildfire, and an armed standoff with local law enforcement officers in Arizona. Donald Trump's embrace of the racist birther conspiracy theory fit this pattern perfectly, and he's continued pumping up disinformation from the White House. Now, Republicans may look at these likely nominees expressing support for QAnon and try to convince themselves they're outliers. After all, in 2018, the GOP found itself with strange bedfellows on their ballot as well, with Fox News describing Illinois GOP congressional nominee Arthur Jones as, quote, one of several Nazis, Holocaust deniers, or white supremacists who've elbowed their way onto the GOP ballot for November's midterm elections. But Republicans need to ask themselves just why so many unhinged extremist candidates feel comfortable clustering under the GOP banner. In the case of QAnon and the current congressional candidates embracing its conspiracy theories, the answer lies at the top of the ticket: President Donald Trump.
I've been a big supporter of mental health. I'd recommend that people who believe it maybe should take advantage while it still exists in the Affordable Care Act. It's bizarre, totally bizarre. And now, have you guys found that plane load of people in uniforms and weapons and flying around? I mean, you know, have you found them yet? Is anybody even from, now, by the way, I respect conservative and liberal points of view in the press. Anybody found that plane?
Who do you think is pulling Biden's strings? Is it former Obama
People
officials?
that you've never heard of, people that are in the dark shadows, people that...
What does that mean? That sounds like conspiracy theory, dark shadows.
No,
What is that?
people that you haven't heard of. They're people that are on the streets. They're people that are controlling the streets. We had somebody get on a plane from a certain city this weekend, and in the plane, it was almost completely loaded with thugs wearing these dark uniforms, black uniforms with gear and this and that. They're on a plane.
Where's this?
I'll tell you sometime.
What in God's name are we doing? Look at how it makes us look around the world. It's mortifying. It's embarrassing, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous. If the president doesn't know better, which he has to know better, then my Lord, we're in much more trouble than I ever thought we were.
Donald Trump built his political career on a conspiracy theory, the idea that President Obama was not born in the United States. Trump repeatedly pushed the idea in interviews and on social media long after it was disproved.
Why doesn't he show his birth certificate?
And I have my own theory on Obama. It's one of the greatest scams in the history of politics.
But it's not the only conspiracy theory he's indulged. On the campaign trail and in the White House, he's toyed with some outlandish ideas. That investor Jeffrey Epstein's suicide in jail was suspicious and might have involved former President Bill Clinton.
The retweet, which is what it was, is the retweet, was from somebody that's a very respected conservative pundit. So I think that was fine.
That Ted Cruz's father might be involved in the Kennedy assassination.
His father was with Lee Harvey Oswald. What was he doing with Lee Harvey Oswald shortly before the death, before the shooting?
Marco Rubio might not be eligible to run for president, an argument no constitutional scholar supported.
You're really not sure that Marco Rubio is eligible to run for president?
I don't know. I've never looked at it, George. Honestly, I've never looked at it.
Routine vaccinations cause autism, a theory scientists have long debunked.
The child, a beautiful child, went to have the vaccine and came back and a week later got a tremendous fever, got very, very sick, now is autistic.
We have extremely well-documented proof that there's no autism associated with vaccinations.
That Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia might have been murdered.
Scalia, was he murdered? I know it's pretty brutal to say that.
It's a horrible topic, but they say they found a pillow on his face.
Muslims in New Jersey cheered after 9/11, a claim no one has ever substantiated.
And I watched in Jersey City, New Jersey, where thousands and thousands of people were cheering.
Millions of Americans voted illegally in 2016, a claim with no factual support.
Does the president believe that millions voted illegally in this election?
He continues to maintain that belief based on studies and evidence that people have presented to him.
And what evidence do you have?
As I said, I think the president has believed that for a while based on studies and information he has.
That climate change is a hoax.
All of this with the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay?
That Russian meddling in the 2016 election is a hoax. According to a New York Times report, that the Access Hollywood video of him admitting to grabbing women's genitals is a hoax, even though he apologized for it when it came out.
I said it, I was wrong, and I apologize.